All right, everybody, welcome back. Totally Driven Radio. It's time again, Frank. Are you ready?
I am ready.
All right, here we are. Let's welcome everybody to Totally Driven Radio. Former Phillies pitcher, World Series champion, Scott Eyre. Scott, how you doing?
Good. How you guys doing?
Good. Welcome to Totally Driven Radio.
Thank you. I was checking out the website earlier.
I hope you enjoyed what you saw.
I was listening to an interview from November of 2012. It was like one of the first ones, I think. It pops up as soon as you come on the website. That was funny.
So, all right.
Oh, sorry, Bay, but we were talking earlier, and I don't know if you know this, but you have the distinction of being one of the few athletes in the city of Philadelphia to bring us a championship. And like I was saying to Bay, you do that once, and you are now royalty in the city.
Yeah,
so
it's kind of cool.
you can basically go out and rob a bank, and the Philadelphia fans would still support you.
It's kind of cool. I tell everybody that I'm the luckiest one of all the Philly guys that have won one because I was just like Stairsy. You know, I got traded there in August. I was just along for the ride, and then to be treated. I've always said to be treated the way I get treated when I go to Philadelphia is far too kind.
Now, how truly different is, I mean, being a professional sports athlete, I mean, you've played all around the country. You've played both American League and National League, so you've experienced both sides of the fence, shall we say.
Just about every stadium, yeah.
Yeah, so how truly different are Philadelphia fans compared to the rest of the country?
As a visitor, okay, so when the stadium opened was 04, correct? It was 04. When the bank opened, 04, right? Okay, so I'm there with the Giants, and we left there after 4 days. Let's see, I believe it's kind of funny. Not funny. My wife wouldn't think it's funny. She got hit in the side of the cheek with a foul ball that ricocheted off of like the barricade back behind where the players' wives are. So that was not good to start one of the games or end one of the games. She got drilled in the side of the face. And while I was warming up, now I'm a Giant, not a Philly at this time. I'm warming up, and you know those little sulfur tablets that you like crack and they smell absolutely disgusting?
Yes. Some
guy in the stands above the bullpen where I was warming up threw one down, hit me right on the top of the head, right of the my hat. And I'm warming up, and I'm thinking, oh, my God, this is disgusting. What's this smell? It's like that sulfur smell, right? Well, not 3 seconds after the thing hits me in the head, I take my hat off. I'm looking up. People are laughing, gawking. The phone rings, and I'm in the game. I get to the mound, and Felipe Alou's like, oh, God, what's that smell? I didn't even know what to say. I just kind of said, that's me. Sorry, Skip. It was as an opposing player, it's not a fun place to play. But I was told by a few ex-Phillies when I got traded there, John Lieber being one of them, who was my Cubs teammate at the time. He told me simply, go there, play, show that you care about the game, the fans, show that you care about winning by your attitude, what you do, what you say, and he goes, and they'll love you. He goes, win, lose, or draw, as long as you give you an effort every night. And I thought, I can do that. So I guess that's what I tried to do, and it worked out good for me. And like you said, I don't know if I could rob a bank and get away with it, but meals are nice when they're paid for. It's kind of cool. It really, truly is. I really mean that. It's funny, but I really mean that. Go.
So when you were told you were being traded to the Phillies, did you kind of cringe, like, oh, no? Like,
it's funny? The funny story, I was driving home from Chicago at the time because I was they were releasing me, basically, and Philadelphia claimed me on waivers. It ended up being a trade. But I was driving my RV home when I got the call about possibly going to the Phillies. The best part is he asked me, he goes, well, they're on your no-trade list. And I said, well, you can take that list and shove it. I'll go anywhere besides Chicago. So I was in Valdosta, Georgia, where it was about 116 degrees. It felt like it. Driving the RV home, and all of a sudden it wasn't hot anymore. It was nice, and I'm like, okay, I'm going to Philly. I just got to get home now and get there tomorrow. So it was quite exciting.
Wow.
Oh, my kids.
When they told you were going to Philly, I mean, were you excited because at that point they were a contender and you knew this was like a great opportunity? because, being a lifelong Philadelphia fan, we didn't have too many of those years.
No, you know what? Honestly, it was at that point in my career. I guess I signed a 3-year deal in Chicago. First year went good. Next year we signed Piniella. I didn't pitch very well. We didn't get along so well, I guess you could say. We didn't really talk, but we didn't get along. I'm happy-go-lucky, and he's as serious as cancer. So I like to laugh and have a good time, and he doesn't really, and that kind of meshed things. Plus, I didn't pitch well. So when 2008 rolled around, I was kind of just miserable. And at that point, I wanted to quit and go home because I couldn't stand being there at the field anymore. And being traded to Philly at the time, I got the call, and they said, would you want to go to Philadelphia? And I thought, you know what? Somewhere I'm wanted, hell yeah, I want to go. And I left. I went. I went with no expectations of going to playoffs. I went with the thought of a fresh new start, that I wasn't ready to quit and go home. I just felt like that in Chicago at that point.
And then the fact that you ended up the season with a World Series ring, which is no matter what you ever do, that can never be taken away from you, is just something that's so phenomenal.
And it's
funny. I don't know if you know how much this actually meant to Philadelphia fans that they won that year.
I found out. I found out the next season when I decided to come back, and then when I retired, and when I go back now, I find out how much it means. And I asked. It's funny. I asked Phil Sheridan, one of our clubhouse guys. He's awesome, by the way, in the clubhouse. I asked him a simple question, like, why do I get free lunches when I go? I was just a fill-in player that was here for a few months or whatnot. And he goes, do you realize you're one of 2 teams to ever win a championship here? He goes, you're that guy on that. He kind of described it funny. He goes, you're that guy on the dirty old basement photo that's sitting up there, and your picture's on the World Series photo that's on some dirty old basement down Broad Street in some house.
Okay. I mean, seriously. I mean, related to like the Flyers from the 70s. I mean, both myself and Frank, my co-host, we're both big sports fans and sports collector guys, and we still to this day. I mean, when the old Flyers do autograph signings, which they do a lot still. Yeah. I mean, those guys from the 70s are probably more in demand than the Flyers
than the newer players.
Yeah, because they are like true royalty, and that's what you're going to go down as history as Philadelphia royalty now because of that.
Well, thank you for that, Philadelphia. But I truly was just happy to be there. One of those guys, I think in the World Series, I only faced 2 batters in the entire World Series. I faced the same guy back-to-back days. I faced Akinora Iwamura in Game 3 and Game 4. That was it. I warmed up for I think I warmed up in 4 of the 5 games at multiple different times, but I only pitched twice. So
wow.
I was happy to be there.
There you go.
But I got him out both times, so strike out one night, fly out the next night.
Hey, well, you got to look at someone like Mitch Williams, who will be forever remembered as the GOAT for his pitching. So you know what? The fact that you struck out 2, it could have gone the other way. Now,
it could have been. The one night I look back at it now, it's like it was just a simple little strikeout in the 7th inning of a game. But I look back now, and I believe it was either 1st and 3rd or 1st and 2nd. I give up a double, and they score 2 runs, and we don't win the game 5-4.
Exactly.
So, you think you never think about it.
That.
I guess I try to be as modest as I can be. I mean, it's pretty cool to pitch in the World Series. I'm not gonna lie, but when the kids ask me about it, I say, I just faced one guy. No big deal.
Yeah, but and you shouldn't really downplay it because, like you said, one hit the wrong way, and like I said, a pitcher can end up like Mitch Williams, who up until that point, Philadelphia loved him, and
at one point they just done.
Exactly.
And I'm glad that didn't happen to me.
Now, one thing I'll tell you, when that series, when the one game got rained out,
yes,
Philadelphia's had the worst luck when it comes to championships. And immediately I'm sitting there like, oh, here we go. This is the end. This is how we're going to get screwed out of the championship. Everyone I talked to the next day had their head down. I can't believe it. They're cheating us. This and that. How did you guys feel with that?
I heard people say. I heard fans, people in the mall the next day. We were sitting the next day. It snowed. I stayed at the Deptford Residence Inn out near the Deptford Mall in Jersey. And we were at the mall the next day, and they canceled that workouts and everything because of snow and stuff. And I could hear people saying things like that. Oh, this is how it's going to turn around, and they're going to find a way to lose. That's just Philadelphia's luck. I'm like, what? Really? I did not just hear that. And Clay Condrey was sitting right next to me, and he goes, "Yep, that's how they think." So when we went out,
I don't think it was as much they thought you guys were going to find a way to lose.
Something was going to screw us.
It was luck of Philadelphia that the stars were lining up against us. And I'll tell you, I went to work the next day, and everybody had their head down, and they're like, "Oh, I can't believe," because they were flipping out because a lot of people have never heard of the rule up until that point. And then, the fact that you guys
the World Series game cannot end in a tie. I mean, has to be finished 9 innings.
Well, with the rain delay, that if it was, I'm trying to think now. Remember back what it was. If it was over a certain amount of innings, you guys actually would have won if they ended the game.
Yeah. Well, it's after 5. Any game after 5 innings, that gets rained out, and the home team is ahead, is game over. And there's no one in our locker room that wanted to win a game like that. First of all, I can promise you that nobody wanted to win a game like that. I mean, yeah, you'd guarantee the win, but I don't think anybody would accept that was beating somebody, because you never know, like you said. They could have made a comeback after that. Who knows what happens at tide's turn?
and I think that's more what the fans were afraid of, that you guys had them on the ropes that night.
Yep.
And they were just afraid, hey, now these guys, they were beat. Now they're going to come back and they're going to be refreshed, and it was basically a whole new game. But I think
the Tide went straight back into our corner though when Jeff Jenkins came to bat once we resumed play.
You guys did it, and when you guys won that championship, I live in a little suburb, but the next thing I hear is people out in the streets, and they're high-fiving, people stopping their cars in the street and high-fiving each other. It was just, it was unbelievably a magic moment, man, and you guys forever going to go down, man.
We had a team party at Burrell's house downtown. He lives off of Broad, like down there. I don't even know exactly where it was, but I swear to God, it took 3 hours to get there. At one point, there was a cop telling us to go one way, and I believe it was, I think I was in the car with Durbin. I think I might have been Durbin, and he stuck his head out and looked at the cop and go, "Dude, seriously, I just need to get out of this traffic." And the guy looked at us and was like, "Yeah, you guys can go that way." And he let us through the barricade and moved stuff, so that was kind of cool. Like I said, that goes back to like the free food and stuff. Those perks are fun, but it was a madhouse. I saw people ripping out trees downtown. Like, I don't understand why you'd want to rip out a tree because we won the World Series.
Yeah.
But you saw there was quite a bit of excitement downtown.
I'll tell you what, I back in '93 when the Phillies won the final round of the playoffs to go to the World Series, me and my buddy were in the bar watching it, and we were in the suburbs of Philly, and I'm like, we're going to Broad Street, and we drove down to Broad Street for the big celebration, which naturally, thanks to Mitch Williams, it was a whole other story in the World Series.
Oh, yeah.
But then in 2008, like I've since that time in '93, that experience was so incredible. Like every time a Philadelphia team gets to the championship, I just would keep saying, going to Broad Street, going to Broad Street. And then as now I'm married with kids and all, so then when you guys were there, I just kept saying to my wife and my daughters, we're going to Broad Street. And they're like looking at me like I'm crazy. We're going to Broad Street.
I'm not going anywhere.
Yeah, well, that we left the house the 7th inning, and as soon as we were coming down off 95, Harry Callis called the winning call, and I was like, this is it. And next thing you know, here goes the fireworks, and they were just looking at me. I said, oh, no. You wait till the party starts in 2 minutes. And Broad Street was a zoo. And it's just such an experience. You just, like you said, like, wow. Like, just to experience that and to be in the middle of that and part of that, it's such an incredible feeling.
They say it is. I mean, it is quite a numb feeling, basically. I think it was, was it 40, 45 degrees, 42 degrees?
To me, it was the middle of summer.
Exactly. That's we're running around with champagne all over us outside, and it's 40 degrees, and you got ice cold champagne on you. It's bad luck. Nobody gets pneumonia after celebrations like that. But you're not warm. I mean, you are. Your body's completely numb. Even now, I get a loss of words for it.
Wow. A question I've always wanted to ask a professional athlete. When you were growing up, who was your favorite team?
I grew up a Dodger fan because I grew up in Los Angeles. So
Okay.
It's kind of funny we put him out back-to-back years. And I played for the Giants for 3.5 years. But I did. I grew up a Dodgers fan. Hershiser was one of my favorites. But as a young kid, I watched any and all lefties my dad could find on TV.
So when you went into Major League Baseball and you didn't get to play for the Dodgers and you're playing for, like you said, like you had to play for the Giants, didn't it, like, deep down hurt? Didn't it bother you?
You know what? At the time, not really. I guess when you're there, I don't know. I play with many guys in the minor leagues that were, like, huge Yankee fans growing up, and they just got traded to the Red Sox. And they were like, they didn't give a crap less. They, you know what I mean? Like, I guess once you're playing, that's the only time I ever looked at it as, like, this is a job, and right. I have to beat the Dodgers. And I really don't care if I beat them because this is my team right now. It becomes your team and your love and your home as soon as you put the jersey on, unless, in my eyes, unless you don't like the game. You know, I love the game of baseball so much. When I put the jersey on, I felt at home, whatever it said on the front of it. But, you know, there's also, like you said, there's also a little specialness, though, in Philadelphia for me because of the World Series. You know, even losing in 2009 is still special to me because I was there from start to finish.
Right.
So that one actually hurt a little bit, but.
And you know, we were discussing that earlier in the show that you guys were picked to just dominate the 2009 season.
Mm-hmm.
And I mean, what do you think was just a major factor on why you guys didn't pull it off? Because I personally thought you guys had a much better team than the Yankees.
I think we had better pitching too, but I think the game that A.J. Burnett pitched in Game 5, was it Game 5? Yeah, was it 2? Which one did he dominate? I can't even remember now. It's been, as my son tells me, a long time ago since I retired already. It's only been like 3 years. This is my 4th season out. But whatever game, I think when A.J. Burnett stepped up and dominated for 6 or 7 innings, I think right there is where they won the series, actually. I mean, obviously Hideki Matsui doing all that, but that year, I don't think we could have done a whole lot different besides, I think we just got beat. I don't think we beat ourselves in 2009. I think we just got beat, and they had pitching that wasn't supposed to be so good and did well.
Yeah, like I said, that there was just no one in the city that thought you guys wouldn't repeat. But hey, you know, even one was you know, we're appreciative of that.
One was fine. 2 would have been, oh man. If we would have won 2, I could have robbed the bank. You've been right on that one.
There you go. Now, Scott, another question I had for you was, is both of your brothers are actually pitchers too. Now, is there something that, because I know that there's a lot of people who have siblings in sports, but usually they don't all play the same position. And the fact that, you know, you and both your brothers are pitching, where did that come from? Was that somebody in the family, or you guys
my dad
grew up loving pitching?
My dad grew up, we grew up with baseball in mind. He played softball 5 nights a week on weekends. Not one of those beer league softball guys. He's very competitive. He still does it. Still travels around with a 65-year-old team and plays. But it was more of just a passion. Grew up in a family that loved sports, and we played. And my youngest brother, or my other brother, Willie, just retired this year. He had about 3 years in the major leagues, and then the youngest of all of us has a different last name because he's from a different mom, but my dad's kid the same. Robert signed with the Giants, and he played for a couple seasons, then found a girl, I'm going to be in love, blah, 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 I'm going to quit baseball now. Yeah, then they broke up, so.
Wow.
But, you know, for the 3 of us to be drafted in one family, that is something cool. I know my brother and I were I think someone told me once we were the 70-something pair of brothers to ever play in the big leagues together. I think we were the 30-something brothers to play in the same game. So wow. I think that's kind of cool.
That is cool.
Yeah, and I mean, your parents must be super proud because not only you have two major league pitchers, but one of them's got a World Series ring, and you know, I know if I brought a World Series ring home to my father, he'd be happy.
Yeah, he was pretty happy. He was pretty excited. I think my mom was a little speechless. My grandmother was the one that made me cry. She All she did was cry when she said after we won. She couldn't even talk. She said she just cried.
Wow.
So,
That's
but yeah,
awesome.
the parents are excited. I mean, I think my kids, now that they're a little older, they're 14 and 12. And I think at the time, I don't think they understood exactly what we won, and my 14-year-old for sure does now.
So now you're a high school baseball coach?
Yep, I coach with a former left-handed reliever named Scott Sauerbeck as well. Scotty played for about 10 years, the same as I did, close to it, with Cincinnati, with Pittsburgh,
Wow.
Cleveland a little bit. We have a great time. We have a very young school, our young team at the school. It's a private school, so it's only, I think we only have 650 kids.
Wow.
That's 650 from kindergarten through 12th.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. But mine's in 8th grade, and he plays a little first, pitches a little bit, and plays a little third. Right-handed, though. Can't help that.
Now, Scott, do you have any aspirations to go to the next level, maybe coach college or on the professional level?
When my kids are done with school, maybe. We'll see. But we, like I mentioned before, we travel in an RV in the summer, and my wife and I want to do that when the kids are done and out of school and in college. So the prospects of me coaching anywhere other than the high school I'm at are unlikely, but you know what? I do enjoy it. It's fun to try to transfer the knowledge I have about baseball to kids and see if they can figure it out and possibly, go somewhere with it. That part is a lot of fun, I will say.
Yeah, because I think that would be awesome. You win a World Series as a player, and then maybe to come back and win one as a manager is just a double.
Hopefully that they'll win one before that were to happen. Be nice if they won another one this year, huh?
Have you seen anything this year?
Tell you what, if Dominic Brown continues to hit the way he's hitting, it'd be nice to see that all season, huh? He has 7 or 8 home runs this spring, 20-some RBIs.
We were discussing that earlier because this was the player that they thought he was going to be all along, and the last couple of years it hasn't panned out, and this year he's just come on, and like
there's probably a little less pressure on him this year. There's a lot of pressure when every media outlet and every scout is looking at you as possible trade bait, or you're supposed to be the next replacement for this. And he's a good kid. As little I know of him, he works very hard, and it's nice to see his work pay off. I know maybe Wally Joyner is the new hitting coach, or I guess they have 2 hitting coaches now. Maybe Wally's getting in there. I heard an interview with him during a game the other day, and he had a lot of praise for the young man. So hopefully he'll stay healthy. And the guy's got 30 home run pop.
Now, have you? What is your opinion on how Halliday's doing this year?
I haven't seen hardly anything except that he's been sick. He tried to pitch through whatever, the flu or something. There's nastiness going down around Florida. My son's been sick for 2 weeks, but they said his velocity's down. Roy's the type of guy though. If his velocity is down, he can still pitch. He knows how to pitch. He's never been I'm going to blow you away with 95. It might be 95 with sink, but it'll still sink now. I think it's just a matter of him staying healthy. If he stays healthy, the rest of the team seems to feed off of that.
Now that would lead into my next question. You being a professional pitcher and knowing what it takes and the strain, the one thing I commented on is I'm a huge Halliday fan, and just the drop-off last year, it just seemed like it happened all of a sudden. Now we know he was dealing with injuries last year, and he just hasn't seemed to come back from this year. With pitching, is that a common occurrence where you just go from being a superstar to just not having what it takes anymore?
I don't know. That's a tough one to answer. Because he could have just had a down year. Obviously, he was hurt, and there could have been more to it than anyone knows. Too, there's always. I was a pitcher. I had bone chips and bone spurs in my elbow, still pitching because I didn't feel like doing the surgery or the rehab. I just figured I could deal with the pain, and your stuff takes a little toll on that. So maybe if he's healthy this year, we'll see a better pitcher. By the way, I have 5 dogs and 5 cats, and they're barking at something. So It's loud, excuse me. Maggie, shut up. It's a matter of him just staying healthy. Plain and simple. If he's healthy, he can pitch. If he continues to get hit around, well, then maybe there's something wrong, or maybe, I don't see how you just lose it all of a sudden. I don't think you go from, excuse me, from being as dominant as he was to just losing it all of a sudden. Although, I'm not that guy that wants to pick on people, but if you look back at Barry Zito, he went from dominant to not really good for a few years, and then figured out how to pitch. Halladay, the difference in me.
Injury that could it be? There's injuries they're just letting on yet, because he started out the spring training, he seemed fine, and then it was like all of a sudden his last few outings have just been pretty mediocre.
Well, Cam, there can be something wrong in there that's not 100%, and he doesn't say anything. He is one of those quote unquote tough guys, who tried to pitch with a broken arm in Toronto. Then he got broken forearm or whatever. Took a line drive off his forearm and tried to pitch still. There is the tough guy mentality, but with someone like him, I don't know till the season starts if you can say spring training to me. And again, I hate people that say spring training is just spring training. I'm just working on stuff. No, you're not. Pride takes over, and you want to do well.
Sure.
With that being said, he may just be trying to work through some stuff and trying to figure out, get to where he needs to get to early, and then have it late. Who knows?
Well, I hope that is the case, because I'll tell you, I have such high hopes. I think they addressed some of the issues that they had last year, especially with the hitting. And I think this is the year they could possibly sneak in there, because not a lot of people are giving them a shot. And
nope,
if you look at the season last year, you can say that Lee didn't win a lot of games, but I'll tell you, a lot of the times he went out there and pitched and didn't have the support.
Oh, no run support. What was the one game he pitched 10 innings and didn't even get a win?
That's got to piss you off, though. Do you have, at the end of the game where a situation like that where you went out and pitched a game like that and then you get no runs? Is there a little bit of resentment at the end of the game?
You know what? I played with the White when I was with the White Sox early in my career, 98, 99, somewhere back in there. We had a pitcher named Mike Sorotka, and I swear, Mike, I don't think they scored a run ever when this guy was pitching. He had a 2-something ERA, and he was like 1-8.
Wow.
Or something like that. The numbers get skewed when you get older, but it was ridiculous. He had the lowest run support in all of baseball. It's just sometimes it's just those guys, and I do remember him starting to complain a bit, and about not scoring runs and this and that, and that's the one thing you'd never hear Cliff say anything about. We need to score more runs. He'll just say, well, maybe I should have just thrown a shutout. That's what makes him the best, and that's why this year I think he'll be fine. Last year was a fluke. He didn't have a win till after the All-Star break.
Right.
You as a starting pitcher, as good as he is, you run into a win. Every blind squirrel finds a nut, basically. You know what I mean?
Yep.
And he couldn't even run into a win last year. So that to me is just some bad luck, if you believe in that. Whatever it may be, but I don't see how that's going to happen again with him. And with those two, and then you throw Cole in there, who seems to be the unforgotten guy. We're just kind of, oh yeah, Cole Hamels. Oh, he's pretty good too. Everyone talks about. I read something today, as a matter of fact, that said, can the Braves hold off the Nats? Because the Nationals had a good year last year. They're the contenders. Give me a break. So, that's my take on that.
So,
you played in Philadelphia, and we never get the credit that we deserve when it comes to the national media. Sometimes they just want to count us out before, and I think they're overlooking the Phillies this year. You know what, though? That as a player, that's the best. To be overlooked and just to sit off the sidelines and watch everybody else duke it out while you just kind of float along. End of the season comes along and everybody goes, holy crap, where'd the Phillies come from? Or how are the Phillies in first place? Why are we all wrong? Well, no pressure on the team. It makes it a lot easier to play the game.
There you go. Well, Scott, before we let you go, one more question got to ask.
Okay. Yeah.
Who was your toughest batter you faced? Somebody who when they came up to the plate, you kind of cringed, oh no.
Well, most of the time I was running in to face them, not coming up to the plate. Like I got to come into face the toughest one I got to face. The one that I said, oh no. Well, that's an easy one, but Manny Ramirez. But it was only 5 at bats. After the 5th at bat, I'm thinking, God, I don't want to ever face that man again. I think he had 2 homers, a double, and a single, and I hit him once, and he had like 6 RBIs. But the one that I warmed up in the pen and was hoping my hamstring would blow out on the way into the game was probably Todd Helton. And you know, it's funny, I don't think I ever gave up a homer to him. I gave up 4 or 5 to Griffey, but Griffey never scared me. It was always like, I'm going to challenge this guy. Helton was just good. Excuse me.
How about Ramirez when you hit him with the pitch? Did that feel good?
No, that felt really good. 91 right in the middle of the back. Oh, that felt awesome. The best part is I didn't do it on purpose.
Oh.
You know, I came in to face somebody and they pinch hit him and I drilled him. We had a base open, so it looked like I did it on purpose and everything too. You know, it was like I think there was 1 out, man on 2nd and 3rd, and I came in to face a lefty. They pinch hit. He had the day off. He came in to pinch hit, and I drilled him in the back with a second pitch. I was like, my bad, dude.
My bad, yo.
My bad, yo.
Well, Scott, thanks for coming on. We appreciate it.
My pleasure.
Hey, if you are in Philadelphia, Bay and I will be a couple of those guys that will buy you dinner.
All right. I'm actually coming up for a card show, I believe June. I don't know where it is, though. I'll throw it to you on an email or something if I get it. But it's a card show. Oh, I can't remember the guy's name now. Al something. June 26th, I think. Might be coming through in the RV.
Cool.
On my way to Bar Harbor, Maine.
Very cool. Yeah, we'll hook up and shoot us an email, and we'll get together, and we'll buy you dinner.
Sounds good.
All right?
All right, man. Appreciate it, guys. Thanks.
Thanks a lot, Scott. Take care.
All right. Talk to you later.
See ya.
Bye.
How about that, Frank?
There you go. World Series champion. Great guy. What more can we say? Sorry, Bay. I didn't mean to put you on the spot, but I had to promise him a dinner.
Hey, that's all right. You're paying.